Welcome to the Hardtech Podcast.
And everybody, welcome back to the Hardtech Podcast. I'm your host, DeAndre Harakas, with the usual suspect, Grant Chapman.
How's it going, everybody?
And everybody, today we have a super exciting guest, Bernie Youngblood from Hotlogic.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast studio.
Honored to be here. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, for everyone at home, we've been chatting for the last 2 hours and have been down many rabbit holes. So this is going to be a subset of the many rabbit holes that Bernie and the team here talked about.
That's right.
Today.
Yeah.
And we're going to be friends for a long time, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, it's super fun to have you on. So I
Thank
think
you.
what we'd like to start, because I already now know, but love to introduce the audience to what are you currently doing and how did you get here?
How much time you have?
Well, we have about 35 to 45
Right?
minutes.
Well, I'll try to keep it short. So, Bernie Youngblood, Director of Partnerships, Hotlogic. If we dial it back, because of course, why not start at the beginning? I got my degree in sales. Actually, I got my degree in finance, but I came out of college at the height of the savings and loan crisis, which most people aren't old enough to remember. It was a long time ago. And so I started off really in the field of sales and marketing and never left. I'm on my 8th startup. I got into some entrepreneurial activities, mostly because I get bored easily. Multiple companies, multiple industries, spin-offs, bootstrap, international distribution, all the above. Did I mention I get bored easily? So I like to, it's not so much going where the action is, it's going where, in the fields that can hold my interest. At the end of the day, my defining value has always been add value or adios, right? If I can't add value to a situation, I'm gone. Why do I get out of bed in the morning? If I can't deliver value for me, for the organization, for the world, what am I doing, right? Which is, I understand, sounds strange to a lot of people, but that's, pray for my wife. But that's how I tick. So Hotlogic for me is an amazing journey and a passion project at the same time. The only known alternative to the microwave and the facility break room. We've shipped over 1 million personal portables. Our largest clients, Walmart, when they build a new distribution center, they don't put microwaves in. They put the Hotlogic product in. Go on social media, thousands, tens of thousands of user-generated content videos, but no one's ever heard of the product. It's, I'm going to say, one of the world's best-kept secrets. I don't know what the rest are. So it's, but at the same time, because it's centered around nutrition, because microwave bad, Hotlogic being the alternative, it's centered around nutrition. It's a passion project for me because, we can go down the list, diabetes, all-time high, childhood diabetes, all-time high. Don't get me started on big food, big pharma, big healthcare. There's no end of challenges. So it's a passion project because this is a ship that we have to right? And what kind of world are we leaving to our children? So, yeah, we have a lot of fun along the way. So that's my other rule. If you're not having a good time, get them out.
Yeah, let's pack this thing up, and we're not all having a
Right?
good time doing it. Now, the plane can be going down, but we can still have a good time trying to pull it up.
This plane is going down, by the way.
Yeah, this is the thing that I always tell everyone
not
about.
Hotlogic.
This is the world, actually. Way more scary. But the story of, like, how do you survive being an entrepreneur? Because
Yes.
the highs are high, but the lows, man, they're desperately low. And I'm like, well, that's because you learn to embrace the suck.
Yes.
You and your buddies in your startup or your small business or whatever you do, like, you band together in the bad
Embrace the
times.
suck.
And you just laugh all the way to the ground as you're bouncing off every boulder on the way down the mountain because you slipped.
Yes.
You're like, ouch, that hurts. Oh, man, how worse could it get? Oh, it gets way worse next week. Buckle up, boys. And if you have fun on the way down, man, the ride up is tremendously fun.
Yes.
And as long as you can survive that and, like, laugh through your own suffering and pain, then it's a good time.
But before we go any further, I've got to say, gentlemen, this is an impressive space. Yeah, I looked at your website before. DeAndre was kind enough to invite me out. And it's an impressive website. Yeah, I must have had a great website designer. You know, everyone's got a great website.
We do that.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
of course you do.
We do that in-house.
But I'm telling you what, you get here, I'm like, your website doesn't do you justice. So if you're a Hardtech Podcast subscriber, right, and you haven't booked your tour of this space yet, I don't care if you're in London or you're in Dubai, get your ass to Indianapolis, Indiana. Bring your clipboard. Can they bring cameras?
They can bring cameras.
Bring your camera. I don't know if you can afford these folks, right? But you need them. I don't know if you know that you need them, but you need them. They're not paying me for this endorsement. I can promise you that. But rest assured, you will not be disappointed.
You just had to bribe me to come down to your podcast next. So
well,
you can listen to this twice if you all want to, guys, and hear two different topics talked about.
Grant featured on the Unboxing the Office podcast, corporate culture, health and wellness. They're all connected.
And I can't wait to talk about corporate culture. And I'll have to send you a podcast I was on 2 months ago that we talked a little bit about corporate culture, and it'd be a good springboard for our conversation.
This is an important thing. But
it is.
Back to the podcast.
I want to go two different directions here. The first one I want to go is, Bernie, we were super excited for this conversation because it took, Grant's probably it was probably the smartest person that I know, especially in the world of hardware. And it took him to the end of our initial conversation to understand like how you guys are actually replacing the microwave.
Oh, yes.
And like what the value prop of Hot Logic was. Like it took me forever to figure out like where all the mathed.
Right.
Not just in the energy store, like where the energy goes or the nutrition side. Like it's like, all right, how does this all actually make it better or easier? And there's like 3 things that finally dawned on me at the end, like a light bulb clicked. So I would like to hear you pitch Hot Logic and then let me go fill in the blanks of what the undertones are. As a nerd, you need to understand that connects all these dots.
We're going to make an incredible team, my friends.
This will be fun.
An incredible team. So we have 2 basic product groups. We have a personal portable oven that allows you to cook wherever you are. You can cook in your car, you can cook at the ball game, tailgating, nurses, teachers at school, wherever you happen to be. That's the Hot Logic Mini. We're not going to turn this into a commercial for the product. God help us. But just for information purposes.
And this is actually very fascinating value proposition finding. This is how I'm going to pitch. This is not a commercial. This is so fascinating to find how Hot Logic found value prop in a market that has existed forever, that no one's innovated on since the microwave.
Well, so
or lunchbox.
There's a lot to unpack
cold
there.
Lunchbox.
So the larger product, the commercial oven, the kind you find at Walmart or Merrill Lynch, we have a few at Apple and a few at Google as well. It's intended to replace the microwave, and we tell people it has a 0 cook time, right? And that's obviously impossible. But it's a play on words, so to speak. So the basic principle is, if you arrive at work in the morning, right, or if you work from home for that matter, you're typically going to have a lunch that you might squirrel away somewhere in the refrigerator. Or maybe you leave your lunch sitting in the vending freezer because you know that burrito's got your name on it.
Yep.
And then you wait until 12 noon or thereabouts to go back to that refrigerator, dig it out, go back to that vending freezer, pull out that frozen burrito, and then fight over the microwave with your 52 other coworkers. Right?
That if it's a frozen burrito, all need 8 whole minutes to defrost and then cook a burrito.
Yeah, God help us if someone has a lasagna.
32 minutes, yeah.
Right. So instead of that, forget it. That was yesterday. Instead of doing that, when you arrive at work in the morning, and here's the trick, when you arrive at work in the morning, because you know you're going to eat lunch sometime during the day, instead of storing your lunch in the refrigerator, you place it on one of Hot Logic's shelves, and you walk away. No buttons or dials. We call it the AI oven because we're cooking with software. Whenever you're ready to eat, whenever that is, it'll be held hot and ready, waiting for you, grab and go.
And now I get to dive in and unpack the value prop here. So this is what's fun for everyone that's trying to struggle, like, what does this even mean?
What does this even mean?
So the first thing you have to get into is that we all think of food safety at home cold. I keep my refrigerator cold to keep bacteria from growing, keep my food safe and fresh. I keep my freezer frozen to keep my food fresh. Frozen, safe, no bacteria. What you don't realize till you work in food service is that there's a flip side of that argument.
Yes.
You can keep things cold and keep it safe to eat, or you can keep them hot.
Yes.
So think of, you all as listeners probably experienced, if you never worked in food service, only at the buffet. If you go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, guess what? All those pans are in little steamer warmers where the water underneath is kept hot enough, and it makes sure everything's safe because I forget what the actual
165 degrees Fahrenheit,
there we go.
NSF-rated serving temperature.
Yep. And so 165 Fahrenheit will keep bacteria from growing and makes it. You can keep it there as long as you want. Doesn't matter. It can be there forever. Now, your food will dry out.
There are limits, but yes.
Exposed out. But it will, for a whole day, food
Yes.
safe day, you're totally fine. I mean, you can do the perpetual stew, that if you keep a stew hot, you can take from it and just keep adding to it forever. And there are people that have kept perpetual stews running for years, and restaurants and bars that are famous for keeping these old recipes alive. So it's literally the stew that has never been emptied and cleaned. It is just perpetually added to and taken from. But
That scares me.
yeah, now we're diverging. But from food safety, you can keep it hot. So this is the magic that instead of getting to the office in your cold lunch box, because you've refrigerated the meal that you're going to make for yourself and then you want to eat it hot later, and put it in the refrigerator to keep it cold.
Yes.
You guys say, no, immediately put it into our personal oven. I'm going to call it a personal shelf oven, is how I pitch your big unit. They're a big industrial unit, has individual shelves, each heated its own temperature, so it's not on unless there's food on it.
Correct.
And then you heat my lunch if I store it there.
Yes.
And again, it's not a high wattage oven. This isn't a 1,000-watt microwave oven.
70 watts per meal.
Right. And so what we need to unpack now is this is integrated over time. You're doing very low power over a long time so that eventually the food goes from cold, safe refrigerator temperature, or if you bring it hot, it's already hot and it maintains it hot. But by lunchtime, whether that lunchtime is at 10:30 or 1 p.m. or 2 p.m.,
Correct.
It's food safe hot and ready to eat hot now.
Yes.
So you're not only saving the time of the microwave and the rush to the microwave that someone always puts fish in and ruins the lunch experience for everyone else, or you're also saving the energy side. So most people wouldn't figure this out until I unpack the energy storage here. To keep things cold in a microwave, we're always expending energy pumping heat out of the microwave into the room around us.
Yes.
Right? It's a little low level. They're quite efficient, but it's energy wasted.
Yes.
Then you have to heat it up. So we've kept it really cold, and now we have to flip that, going from what's a refrigerator, like 45 Fahrenheit, and then you put it in the microwave to get it to 165 Fahrenheit.
Yes.
And
Or 400.
Or 400, yeah, for really cooking. And then water molecules take a ton of energy to change temperature. So you're, instead of having to keep it cold and spend energy keeping it cold and then expend a tremendous amount of power and energy right now to heat it up, you're like, oh, let's use a little bit of power to maintain it hot. It's like a hot refrigerator.
Yes. Yeah, and once it reaches serving temperature, roughly 12 watts to maintain that temperature.
To maintain. And you could always insulate your systems better in the future, and the more insulation you have, the less wattage, but the more insulation, the more material costs, and there's a trade-off here.
Yes.
So no,
it's a balance.
I'm in love with, and I hope the listeners at home followed that, and I hope I didn't butcher this, Bernie, but that was magic for me to understand. You guys just literally flipped it because you can go food safe the other direction, and no one else has seen this. This is like revolutionary in personal food service.
It's frustrating for us because we love the product, and at the end of the day, for our big customers, it's all about productivity. You have an 8-shelf oven. When 8 people walk into the break room, 8 people can sit down to eat immediately.
Together.
0 cook time. Together, and enjoy the community of their coworkers, right? Take that break that they enjoy. And the reason why Walmart has standardized on the product is Walmart, right? They have remarkable culture. Little known secret, right? But a tremendous organization. How do we know that? Because they invest in our products, and our products aren't inexpensive, right? But they believe in investing in their culture, right? They believe in investing in their people. Why? Because when your people are able to enjoy the break that they deserve, rest, relax, restore, then get back to work, right?
Well,
productivity.
Well, it's find joy in your community.
Yes.
As you and I talked about at lunch, an hour and a half ago, do what you love and you'll never actually work a day in your life.
Yes.
I mean, I work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 for anybody else.
Yes.
Right?
One of the questions I got for you, Bernie, is you talk about Walmart and like these very large clients. What was that process of going and getting those landmark clients? I feel like that's a really good point. That maybe some anecdotes for founders that are looking like, how do you land a Walmart? How do you land a Merrill Lynch?
It was actually our first products were actually installed at I think one of the organizations is Herman Miller, one of our top clients. They support a campus, roughly 3,000 workers across numerous buildings with our devices. It's one of the first installations. I think it was 12 years ago. And they've actually documented the productivity gains that their people realize. But I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about Walmart, but I'll suggest that because of course there's some folks get sensitive about this information, but I'll suggest that back in the day we were known to be disruptors, so we didn't hesitate to go knocking on those doors. I mean, post-COVID, you can't knock on doors like you used to. Mm-hmm. The door's locked. The moat is full of alligators. The drawbridge has been raised.
Right.
It's, this is the world, right?
Yep.
But pre-COVID, we were known to go knocking on doors, and on a couple occasions, we were known to buy a chair and an umbrella and sit outside that door until you would talk to us. I can say that much because I've been caught doing this myself once or twice. I've even had people threaten to call the police on me. As I mentioned, this is a passion project for us. We believe in the product and we want to share the product. And we've given away as much product as we've sold, I'm sure. But we won't hesitate to, how do you say, speak truth to power, press the envelope. In the modern world, we're trying to find different ways to do that because, of course, everything's changed now. Nobody answers their phone anymore. Nobody pays attention to email. Everyone's on social media. We should start a podcast. Oh, wait, we did.
And you're on someone else's. Here we are.
It's difficult. And if I might add an anecdote to that, Death of a Salesman was written 75 years ago. And I've said this already publicly. I'll say it again. I'm calling it. Sales is dead.
Well, we believe that too.
Yeah.
I mean, DeAndre, you and I both effectively do sales,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Sure.
That's what we do for Glassport in our day job.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not your title. And it's not how we tell people that what we do. Because sales got actually a euphemism called business development.
It got euthanized?
It got euthanized. Anyway, no, it has a euphemism called business development.
Yes.
But that's now also getting you a new euphemism. It's called go-to-market.
To borrow from the movie The Graduate, I have one word for you. Influence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the new game.
Thank You for Smoking has a really good argument for that movie as well.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Really? Oh, that one's good. Power of Persuasion. It's good.
Okay.
Thank You for Smoking is worth watching.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you're doing as long as you hold your argument in these steps. Was life-changing for me.
But this is something that of course, the Glassport organization is near and dear to your hearts. How do you introduce innovation to the world? How do you do that? It's a lot different than it used to be.
It is.
We live in an infinite noise attention economy.
The noise floor is very high.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
To break through, celebrities don't have all the influence that they used to have. They still have a lot. Cash flow, having the venture capital fire hose of cash can help, not always. It is very difficult to press new ideas into our culture.
Sure. I think that honestly, when it comes to the evolution of sales, as it were, or
And then
even
became biz dev.
or even like marketing, it's just evolved.
Yes.
So what used to be
Yes.
celebrity endorsements is now influence.
On the Wheaties box.
Yeah, or on the Wheaties box is now an influencer-led marketing. What used to be having a very popular radio show is now a podcast, and that's the way that it manifests today. People don't even watch cable television anymore. My entire generation, I go home after work and I'll watch YouTube, and I'll just get to watch whatever channel that I want to watch for 35 to 45 minutes and just love every minute of it. And I get that
That's
kind of
your
choice.
generation, by the way.
That's right. And so I think that sales and go-to-market has just simply evolved. And so the tactics have as well.
That's a remarkably simplistic way to describe the collapse of an industry. Yes, it's evolved. The average Don Draper is on the corner selling pencils out of a cup.
Yeah. So let me dig into how you're feeling on that, because what's interesting for us, and especially our clients, we found that the art, I'm going to call it an art, the art of, I'm going to boil it down to sales, of getting someone to understand that your product or service exists and to choose to buy it if it's in their budget and desire land, right? Their zone of influence. The way you reach those people is different, but what's more important is the message that you now have to send is totally different than it used to be.
Well, in a what I'll describe as a nearly transparent world, what I suggest to people, going back to Don Draper, the brands can no longer be built. They can only be revealed. So be careful what you say. Be careful what you do. There are always eyes that are watching.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care what I don't care what good stuff your marketing department comes up with. If you are being stupid, particularly in public, we are witnessing companies being punished. And any number of examples, take your pick, for the bad acts and the good and the well-intentioned acts
That don't go to plan.
or were not planned well. Brands can no longer be built. You can't. When I forgive me for the extemporaneous departure, but it used to be I'm an old man. Back in our day, you hired an advertising agency. You make your product.
You hire an ad firm.
After you're done making the product, then you go hire an ad firm. And here comes Don Draper and his silky voice. His voice is almost as good as yours. DeAndre, let me tell you, you missed your calling. Well, wait to see.
We're here.
Yes.
Yeah, say,
Oh, what does the future hold? But you hire the ad firm, and the ad firm makes up some stuff and goes out and sells it.
and they tell your story for you with words and pictures.
Yeah, television, radio, print. Those are the only channels that existed. Television, gone. Radio, gone. Print, gone. DeAndre will say they evolved. But they're gone. And so it's a much different world. And it's an amazing opportunity, of course, but it's a different world.
Well, and so what I think is fascinating about what I'm going to call traditional advertising today is how it's changed. Because it actually went through two revolutions back to back.
Yes.
So there was the first revolution away from what you're talking about, print, TV, radio. Then it went to social media ads.
Yes.
So there's still advertisements. You actually still went to an ad agency, and they put together an ad, and then you paid Facebook or Meta or whoever to run it on their social media platform, and and those social media platforms sold picks to gold miners and became trizillionaires.
Yes.
But the companies along the way actually could become overnight successes because they could target their exact market like TV could never do for them.
That's right.
I can only target people that like to watch the evening news or people that like to watch CSI Miami.
Yeah.
Now I can target 40 to 47-year-old women who also enjoy nail polish, poodles, and blue cars.
And you can do it in real time.
And with geographic specificity.
Yes.
Or any specificity that you'd like. And then that died. And then Apple stopped providing tracking data for a ton of stuff, and everything imploded.
Yeah.
So social, because my wife has been chasing social media ads, and she unfortunately her business started to need social media ads after the implosion, and we've poured probably $200,000 over the last 4 or 5 years to try and make ads revenue positive, and they're not.
Yeah.
We put $1 in, we maybe get 50 cents back. It's been terrible the whole time. But what we found out is that it's just evolved, and we got to quit trying to pay for ads. Because now you actually do it through micro influencers. You find someone who has an audience that is 40 to 47-year-old women that like poodles and blue cars, and you have that person talk about your product for money.
I don't want to upset the apple cart here, but I was thinking about that on the way down here. I'm still working on this theory, right? And rest assured, if I haven't listed my disclaimer yet, I'll list it now. I know nothing unless every day. Rest assured, I am making it up as I go along. But
we're all just playing a big game and figure it out. It's okay.
Here we go.
I still want to figure out what I do when I grow up.
Yes, right? I'm a Toys R Us kid. But DeAndre doesn't know that slogan, right? I'm a Toys R Us kid.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. Yeah, that's burned into my brain.
I had Toys R Us growing up.
But did you have that commercial on TV?
I couldn't tell you.
That's brand.
Yeah.
But it revealed what, anyway. This is still a working theory. But something to consider as you grow an organization, a venture studio, so to speak, right? We have to put some thought around the necessity to build your audience before you build the product.
Oh, I want to chase this one down a rabbit because I actually don't think you have to build an audience.
Right?
You can buy them today.
Well, can you?
Yes.
Right? So you can buy an employee and you can buy their labor, but can you buy their heart?
Well, no, you have to earn that.
Right. So
that's company culture, but talking about ads.
Transactional versus relational.
I think my answer would be yes to both.
You can buy their heart?
You can't. Well,
Where are you hanging out?
You can earn their heart.
We got to talk.
Well, I think to your point in terms of like building a brand.
You can earn it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
You can build your brand before you launch your product. Then you
Yes.
have this. We have a friend of the podcast, Beshte, he's a company called Flora, and effectively he made a product that goes into it basically helps you not kill your plants, and he's got
That's important.
It's very important, right? He killed his plant that his mom gave him. All of a sudden, he built this company. It's fantastic. It's growing. Shout out to Abesh, and he has like 300,000 users on his mobile application.
Yes.
So he created the audience and then sells a hardware product to that audience. Fantastic.
What came first, the audience or the product?
So
Product.
he focused on the software, but it took him longer to do the hardware.
But he started building the product first. So he
That's
set
right.
out to build a product so you wouldn't kill your house plant.
Okay.
And then he realized that software is easier to launch, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so he launches the software, starts to get the community, And then whenever he launches the hardware, he has that upsell to that community. So
Yes.
I agree with that. But I think that sometimes in order to build that, you can then sort of halo effect your way into kind of, you have to somehow earn that audience. And somehow it is latching on to those micro influencers to kind of just at least create some level of awareness. And I think back to the point earlier around, I simplified it and called it evolution. And basically what I mean evolution is that it still fundamentally is the same. Like, whenever you're selling anything, people have to have a business problem, and you just need to have the solution. They need to identify you with that, whether they're your friend or they know you through advertising. But it's just the channels and motions have changed. And so I just think that the way in which people find the companies that they need help from has just changed. And so I think that's like the evolution that I was kind of speaking to.
Well, because again, I think I agree, you can't buy your audience, but you can rent it.
Yes.
Right, and this is influencers.
Yes.
This is where I'm going. You can rent your audience, like we used to do with social media ads, and before that, TV ads, through influencers. And you pay an influencer, and that's how they make money, to talk to their audience about your product. And eventually, if you do successfully grow a brand, this is going back to what you're talking about, then you have to continue to build your own audience because you can't afford influencers forever.
Correct. And I guess, well, I also have to bring up that we're talking about the difference between transactional relationships and relational relationships. If you just want to shove a bunch of prospects down a sales funnel and extract cash and then spit them out the back end and never see them again,
Right.
Well, sure, okay, anyone can do that. But if you want to build a brand that keeps on, REI, the organizations that have a Trader Joe's, a loyal following who will keep coming back again and again and again and again. That's an entirely different.
Formerly Southwest Airlines.
Right. Well, so, I'm split on. I never liked the Southwest Airlines seating model.
But they had diehard fans.
I know. It was incredible loyalty.
I experienced it this morning and did not like it.
The new model or the old one?
This morning, whatever one that one is.
Where you lined up outside by your number.
Well,
and then
you
boarded
lined
the
up.
plane.
You lined up by your number. Okay, great. But my huge anxiety as I walked to the back of the plane because everyone's obviously taking the spots and
Throwing elbows.
Yeah, you're nervous to sit in the middle and people are glaring at you. Not that part. The stressful part where you're like, I have no place to put my suitcase where I'm sitting now. I have to go put my suitcase far away from where I was sitting. And then there's like, whenever you get off the plane, it's absolute chaos. I have no idea why they don't just do assigned seating. Is that some sort of innovation or was
Well, no,
that
they're
cool?
going to assigned seating now.
Oh,
That's
good.
that was my joke of death of a brand because people died for Southwest because the way they ran their business was different. They were just contrarian.
Can I have permission to upset some people?
Please.
Okay. I'm here to tell you, and I'm willing to say it on the record. My favorite airline, Spirit Airlines. I have flown 1 million miles on Spirit, countless miles, and people are like, Spirit Airlines. Isn't that the airline that has all the
Nickel and dimey?
all the TikToks that come out of folks doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing, right? Maybe that's the one. And nickel and diming you on all the fees, of course. The reason why I love Bernie Youngblood loves Spirit Airlines, there it is because it's cognitive dissonance. It's the fact that as a marketing person at heart, I appreciate it when a brand delivers to you the value that they promised.
That's right.
And you know what? When you buy a $14 ticket on Spirit Airlines,
You're just happy to get there.
you're going to get what you paid for. But when you buy an expensive ticket on XYZ airline, who shall remain nameless, and there's several of them, I paid $500 for this ticket. And guess what? The seat is just as crappy. The food is better on Spirit. The food is crappier. They hassle you about let me tell you something. And you take this one to the bank. I have flown, I don't know how many flights on Spirit Airlines, and I'm going off on this for a reason. And I have never, ever, ever in my life seen the airplane run out of space for the overheads.
Because they charge for it.
Correct. They've never run out of space for the overheads.
It's truly capitalistic.
And I hate being badgered. It's demeaning. We're going to have to check your overhead bags. We're going to have to check your overhead bag. They make that announcement 22 times. It's demeaning. And I paid how much for that ticket? Anyway, the reason why this is important, the reason why I mention it, is because I think with talking to the Hardtech Podcast, it's important to deliver on your brand promise. Any kind of disconnect is brand death. And that's a big challenge in the airline business.
I want to pause on that really quick. I asked you a question about 20 minutes ago on how you landed some of these large, like massive organizations that any hard tech company would be like really excited to land on. And I think that you absolutely just
said how
that.
you did it.
I dodged it like Neo in the bullets, I know.
But I think that you like. I'm happy you told it the way that you did.
Okay, we got there eventually?
You absolutely did, and I think it landed.
Wait, what was my answer?
Your answer was like under promise, over deliver.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
market, like do what you say you can do, and then over deliver. I think an example of that is you see all the budget airlines, right? And the one thing that they promise you is everything that you're not getting.
Correct.
If you see any of their marketing, you're never going to hear about how good Spirit Airlines is. They're just going to tell you that you can't have, you got to pay for your bag, you got to pay for your food. And that's how people even talk about cognitive dissonance. If they gave you all the same things and just were cheaper than American, people would assume there's something wrong with Spirit Airlines. So they almost like jump the gun on that and just tell you this is what's wrong with it.
Right.
And then you can opt into it. Absolutely. Right. Yeah, very good.
And again, my co-founder and I fight like cats and dogs about airline pricing. I really just want to be told what I can pay for.
Sure.
Tell me what it costs to
Right.
get an overhead bag. Tell me what it
Transparent
costs to get a non-cancelable ticket.
Yes.
And not just that I can't cancel it, that the airline will bump someone else before me. I'm willing to buy an insurance policy that I'm not the one that gets bumped off this flight. Let me build my own smorgasbord of money. Or if I'm going on a cheap trip that I don't care about, I'll roll the dice.
So DeAndre, I apologize for what's it called? I did the weave to answer your question, to borrow from our dear president. Let me address that more directly. I've been doing this a long time. How do you land whales?
Yep.
I think is the question.
How to go whale hunting.
So I think in the modern world, this is not, in 1997, I landed a deal with the Cadillac Motor Car Company. That set us up with a multi-million-dollar opportunity. I did that because at the conference, honest to God, true story, I picked out the prettiest girl in the room and sat next to her. And she was the brand manager for Cadillac. And I literally told her, my boss will not allow me to go back to the office unless I ask you for an appointment. And she says, of course, right? So the right moment, right place, right time.
That's right.
And stupid priorities. But I got lucky, right? And we've sat outside the front door. And we sit there in the rain with an umbrella all day, 2 days in a row. And they take pity on us. And they let us in. You can't do that anymore. Can't do that. You might get arrested. Take that one off the table. The answer I'm going to give you is something I've learned from a good friend of mine in the AI space. AI is coming. It's coming on strong. But something to keep in mind is humans are naturally discriminatory. It's organic. It's what we do. We discriminate.
It's how we survived.
Yeah.
Is this food safety or not?
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Right. From our core, we're naturally discriminatory. And while AI right now is capturing our attention because it's novel, in due course, it's going to be very quickly identified as artificial, and we are going to discriminate against it. We're going to swipe left. And I think, is left the bad one?
I think so.
Okay. Been married 31 years. I don't know this stuff. But what my friend suggested to me is, in this world, in the AI era, authenticity will be the new currency. Whatever you do, if it is not authentic, you're going to be called out. And in our work, I've gotten phone calls from CEOs, emails from CEOs, and in every case, when they're reaching out to us, it's in response to something we did, which might have been stupid, embarrassing, or smart, but it's authentic. And we see this even today. That's probably my number one advice for building a brand and bringing in whales. Authenticity. Because the top brass values that now, and they will more than ever.
I want to double click into that. You just actually said how you did it at the very end of that one. Again, the last thing you say is always the actual truth. The way you land whales is not by courting a company. It's by courting a person.
Oh, of course, 100%.
Like this is the
Yes.
obvious thing.
Yes.
You need to find your. Everyone talks about what is an ICP in your business. Who's your ICP? Ideal
Right.
customer persona, profile, whatever you want to call
Yes.
it. It's not the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's not the kind of client. It's actually who you should be targeting is a human persona. I want to target, the Tamras of the world. Tamra, in my model persona, she is someone in her career that is likely between the age of 28 and 52, who is in a leadership role and might have a title of X, Y, or Z.
Yes.
And she is someone who's looking to be an innovator in her industry and looking for outside help to help innovate her corporate role. And she needs to bring in outside ideas to innovate on. That's an ICP.
Yes.
And you go find this theoretical Tamra person. Tamra's our old director of operations. She's great, so I can use her name here. You need to find where she's at and go reach out to her, not reach out to the whale. You're not reaching out to Cadillac or
Nope.
Eli Lilly or
Right.
any General Motors, any huge brand. You're actually reaching out to a human,
Yes.
and you're trying to get to talk to them.
Yes.
Then the rest is magic.
Yes.
That's true. Like that's what we call go to market.
Yes.
Go to market is finding a way to get Tamra to look at something that you did, whether it's a email or a phone call or a gift fruit basket, if that's how you reach out to people, or they hear you on a podcast. But this is how do you get in front of that person? That's go to market. And then sales is build a relationship, find a problem you can solve for them, fix it for better value if they can do it anywhere else, and make you yourself the obvious choice.
So let me take it one step further, if
Please
I might.
double click. Let's go all the way down.
All right. So I have this. I had a friend of mine the other day ask me, Bernie, what does a modern sales organization look like?
Yeah.
And I told him, death of a salesman, blah blah blah. And what I suggested to him, and this gentleman we're the same age, right? He's in his 50s, right? We're old men, right? Dinosaurs. The 50s is the new 30, DeAndre.
That's right.
Okay. The back off. What I suggested to him was, I don't care if you're 50, I don't care if you're 30. If you think you're in the sales, aka influence business, if your face does not, that's Hawaii. If your face does not appear on this device, because the CEO, as you suggest, the human being that you're selling to, is the CEO of any company in the world is staring at this device.
This device for everyone listening is a phone, an iPhone to be
Yes.
specific.
Yes. Thank you. So sorry.
That's okay.
I'm looking at the camera.
That's what I'm here for.
Right? So if you think you're in the sales, aka influence business, get your face on social media right now
With a voice.
and voice is important.
And
Yes.
it could be written or audio. I don't care, but you have
Video's
to
best.
have it is.
Video's
But
best.
My answer is you have to have your authentic voice.
Yes.
I'm going back to what you're saying, because anyone can pick out AI generated garbage on LinkedIn. I
Yes.
see it through my whole feed. It's just a bunch of people asking ChatGPT to make me a smart sounding post, and then they do it. And I don't believe any of it. Don't care anymore.
There's the judgment, by the way.
Yeah,
That
there's-
you pointed out, of course.
Yeah, there's the artificial kick it out, because it means they're using it as a tool to get a sale instead of advertising
Yeah.
what they authentically offer in their role and what their company culture is. And then if I can pick up on an advertising like, hey, our company solves XYZ problem, and this is why I work here because I'm passionate about making sure food storage isn't just about food safety, it's about community in the lunchroom.
Yes.
If I heard that story, I'm like, oh, this isn't just someone trying to shill me a piece of appliance.
Correct.
This is someone who truly believes that company culture is important, and they have a product that solves a friction point.
Speak to your brand message.
Mm-hmm.
And as Gary Vee would suggest, we have this tool available to us. And I say this because I have any number of friends who are my age who are in this space. And Bernie, I don't have an Instagram. I don't have a LinkedIn. I have friends who don't have LinkedIn. Oh my God, they exist. And I tell them, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing? That you're a dinosaur, and I'm calling you out. Get your butt on those platforms. We won't always have access to this tool. You better build that audience for yourself before we lose access to it, because eventually it'll cost, as Gary Vee suggests. Then they start charging for it, right? And if you don't already have one, it costs twice as much to build.
I'll give you a really prime example. So I firmly believe in like thought leadership marketing,
Yes.
putting your authentic self even on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And not just being this canned whatever.
Or this podcast.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. And
Shout out
just
to
good
DeAndre for the
stuff.
idea. Yeah.
Or doing the podcast kind of thing. And honestly, like I recently, it just increases your touch points with if you're reaching out to someone.
Yes.
They can look at you and like you're at least worth a response if you're like a real person. But nonetheless, they also feel like they know you. But even it's just that touch point. So, for example, a gentleman on LinkedIn reached out to me and said, "Hey, can you introduce me to your engineering team?" And I said,
Yes.
"You know, you do the thing where you're like, yeah, maybe." But I keep seeing him post his like authentic photo on LinkedIn, and every time I see it, I think about that message he sent me.
Like maybe I should give him a call.
And to draw the point even further, I'm talking about it right now.
Yeah.
And that is what advertising marketing and influence
Right.
is all about.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's something that we really drilled down into that one. But
That was fun.
As a marketing guy, it's near and dear to my heart.
Sure.
Because it's evolved, as DeAndre would say, to that point where we are. I don't know where it's going, but it's where we are.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Because I think that we've really, because this is Glassboard's journey of going from founder-led sales to a team.
Yep.
And if for all of you founders out there that are about to go through this, please go talk to Ian Illing at Stompbox. Shout out here in Indianapolis. He is a phenomenal consultancy that helps founders understand what it means to grow a sales team that's not them.
Yeah.
Because you and I do our jobs violently differently, but we do the same job.
Yes, we do.
Right? Our actions, our motions, as you like to your word that I love because it describes what you're doing, not how you're doing it. Our motions are totally different. You and I do different
Which is a
steps to
good
get to the
thing.
same outcome. And we could probably have many people do the motions of the playbook you've written now for your role, right? Like I needed you to write the playbook, but now we can have, as Glassboard grows, we can have many of you that just can act those motions. Only the CEO, because even if I leave, the new CEO can do what I do, right? They can sell from the CEO seat. It's a completely different amount of influence or rapport, what do you want to call it? And that was so wild for me to learn as a first-time founder.
Yes.
That, I'm just going to hire a sales guy and I'm going to let him shadow me for 6 months and he'll be really good at this because he'll do exactly what I do. And boy, howdy, was that not how it works.
Grant, no one's ever going to be able to do exactly what you do.
Well, that's because no one
You're a
should.
hat trick +1.
Oh, no, that's just...
I don't even understand it.
It's just called driving by braille and bouncing off the guardrails. And this is the particular pattern that
Yes.
left, right, I bounce off of that
Yes.
works. We don't know how or why. But this is my favorite part to bring up for the listeners. Sales has changed. As you said, Bernie, and you wrote a playbook for a service firm, Glassboard, that sells engineering for Hardtech, which is really hard and really rare, and no one actually does it in real time.
Yeah.
But we found a way to talk to humans and make friends that makes our authentic selves show through.
Yes. Can we talk about innovation?
Oh, please.
Let's center in on innovation. Yeah.
Because this is a challenging subject.
Yeah.
Permission to upset people.
Yes. Let's go.
Granted.
We live in a world. We live in a culture that abhors innovation.
Everyone resists change until they think it's cool.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes. And even when innovation is successful, too often in our model,
Mhm.
it is attacked. Sometimes it is bought and it is shut down.
Oh, that happens all the time.
How many inventions have been shelved, right? How many large organizations, there are Fortune 500 companies that have venture capital departments that buy competitors, right? Only for the purpose of shutting them down.
The worst place for this is medicine because
Sure.
treatment is profitable.
Well,
Cure is not.
Yeah, the medical thing, we don't want to talk about that. That's a whole thing.
Yeah. But so going down this rabbit hole of...
But innovation, and at the same time, obviously given the state of the world, we could use a little innovation. I'm not talking about going to the moon. I'm just talking about basic stuff.
like food and water.
And it right, it is remarkable that we allow this to happen. Much of the pure research that was once done has been, of course, disbanded.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Organizations don't do pure research for the most part, and large organizations can't seem to figure out how to innovate, which, of course, to come full circle, makes an organization like Glassboard even more important.
Well, to go all the way to the beginning, the reason large corporations struggle to innovate is culture.
Yes. Oh, he nails it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
It's all
yes.
about aversion to risk. In a large corporation, you have built something big, and you can't lose, or you're either kicked out or you failed.
So how do we, as a culture, you know, obviously you guys are hitting home runs every day. This is your business, right? Okay, you know, you got some foul tips.
No, but that's my favorite part. Actual innovation is almost never hitting a home run.
Of course.
Actual innovation is swinging for the ball as hard as you can, shooting your basket as hard as you can, and missing 9 out of 10, 99 out of 100.
Hey, remember, I'm marketing, right? Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
But then never giving up. Because eventually the blind squirrel finds the nut, and that's when innovation happens.
So you guys, this is in your blood, right? But you work with organizations every day. Your clients hire you because they want to inject innovation into their product,
Whatever it is.
portfolio, into their culture, what have you. How do you do it? How are you not affected by, of course, their TPS reports, their broken culture, their burdens, right? The red tape. Here's the contracts this thick, right? That puts all of your people in chains. How are you able to do what you do?
Oh, because I actually don't sell. I'm not a staffing firm.
Sure.
My clients do not manage my engineers. That
Okay.
is antithetical to how our model works. Our clients are hiring Glassboard, a product development firm, and they're hiring us on a retainer for a certain amount of money every month. That is actually not explicitly into hours in our contract. They're just giving me money. They're literally writing me a blank check for 15 grand a month, 30 grand a month, 80 grand a month. I don't care. That's our whole range, everybody. That's min max. You've already found it. But you can buy any number of dollars in between. We have an internal average hourly rate, depending on what department we're doing, that we'll bill against. We also, within that monthly budget, will buy prototypes, so we don't have to go through their procurement. Glassboard is doing our work in innovation. Now, we'll work within their larger team. If they want to do the mechanical engineering of their IoT toaster, we'll use Sunbeam. If Sunbeam wants to make an IoT toaster and innovate, they'd hire Glassboard, and our embedded software and our electronics team would work within their product development team, and they would tell us what they want the IoT side of their toaster to do. We would go off and we'd work, and we meet them every week and talk with their team, and we'd share ideas of how we could integrate the IoT. Where would it go in their mechanical design? What would the UX look like on the outside? Because they have a UX team. Their buttons on toasters, and we lead their horses to water where we need to interact with their stuff. But we would be fully free to go innovate how we deliver the user needs. We always start every conversation. What user needs does the product need for you to be happy with it? And we write those down from, I have to have this, I'd like to have this, it'd be cool to add this. And then within our budget, we go up and build a timeline in the budget. They buy into that. And as we get closer to the delivery dates of any milestones, again, we're paid monthly. We're not paid on delivery. We're paid monthly. We're paid for effort. If we're getting close and not going to make it, we'll cut all the nice to haves. Glassboard's in control of that. But I'll say, hey, I'm about to cut these. You can either extend the timeline or add more budget, and we can continue to crank. But you're in the driver's seat.
Sure.
But you're not going to manage my people. And that allows us to experiment and to try things and to put the right amount of effort in. And if someone doesn't like the way we do it, they get to break up with Glassboard and not with a person.
How often do you reject new prospects when they come to the table?
When?
And how do you make that determination?
So early in Glassboard's days, we told nobody no because we were hungry. Fun fact about small companies. We're big enough now. We get to say no. It's really empowering, and we only work on what we want to work on. And again, we actually find most things fascinating. People might say, "Oh, I'm going to build a trash compactor under your kitchen sink." That's a fun physics. We'll find a way to make that fun. It's not like it has to be solving the world's
Remember, they're
problems.
engineers.
We find a lot of things fun, but we don't work with jerks. That's really the only filter. Like we don't currently do any. Okay, there's the world of defense, and then there's the world of war.
Sure,
there are differences.
Sure.
We actually still don't have any.
Man down.
It's the audio's still rolling. We'll just roll with the audio.
Okay.
So we actually don't have any defense clients currently, and I think we never actually have. But we wouldn't take on any war clients. Like I might build a bulletproof vest. I would not likely build a missile guidance system at Glassboard. It's not our culture or what we do.
Do we really need another missile guidance system?
Well, the missile's got to get to its target, and someone's got to do it for defense. Like we got to keep the world in check, as you and I talked about earlier. The bullies need to be taken care of.
This is true.
For fight the good fight against the evil of the world. Like someone's got to do it.
So you do tell clients. Sometimes you have to tell a prospect, not a client, a prospect no.
All the time.
How often do you? I don't know if you have numbers on this. How often do you get halfway through a project and then and only then realize this, for one of many reasons, this isn't going to happen?
this isn't going to happen because I'm going to be done working with the client or because the product's not going to work. Those are two different questions, and we do experience both.
In this case, I'm going to say cultural mismatch, expectations out of whack, client's not able to, client just doesn't understand the scope of work and time, dollar constraint, and just bad fit.
Yeah. No, so client where I will never be able to meet their expectations. They'll never be happy.
Correct.
We might get it done, but they will never be happy
How
about
often
it.
does that happen?
1 out of 15, 1 out of 10.
Wow.
Actually, 10 or like 10-ish%, maybe a little less. And most of the time, this comes to a head close enough to the finish line that we'll just finish it.
Sure.
We'll get to the end of a stage and then gracefully hand off the manufacturing support to another partner.
Sure.
About a third or half those, I do have to fire in the middle and
Right.
say, hey, we're done. Now, we won't put the pencils down until you have a new firm. I will help you interview all the new firms. Like, I am not going to drop you like a rock.
Sure.
I have a reputation to keep, and I'm also just not personally a monster, and I would hate someone to do that to me. This isn't working. We're going to have to find a way to transition this.
That's a much higher retention rate than I expected.
Oh, and what's fascinating about our model of work, for the last 10 years, 85% of this year's revenue came from clients we had last year.
And that's part of that
That's every year.
relational deal. Yes.
It's every year.
There's two kinds of firms when it comes to like consulting. You have like your black box firms. These are firms that once a client comes in, they just never leave. And typically, what you find with those kind of firms, and I think Glassboard was like this a few years ago, but not as much. They usually don't have as much of a sales function. So if they lose a few clients really quickly, then all of a sudden they have to go flail around and invite.
Oh, yeah, you mean the feast-famine cycle.
Yeah, the feast.
My favorite game.
That's right, the feast payment cycle. And then you have other firms that like they probably churn through 50% of their book a year that they go refill it up. They have a really good sales process, but they're not as good at keeping clients. And honestly, that was one thing that I was pretty intentional on when I was looking at Glassboard, even from like the go-to-market perspective. Is you want to join a firm that's like. If you're going to join either one of those firms, like the black box firm or the one that's like just really good at sales and churns through customers, of course you're going to want to join the one that's very good at keeping their customers, because then if you can actually stand up that good go-to-market infrastructure, then you've really built something that could scale and eventually get acquired as well from a consulting perspective. But Bernie, I've got the final question I always love to ask people is, in your experience from Hot Logic, innovation in marketing, what would you say is just like advice that you would have to people either founding a hard tech startup or folks that are in higher level leadership roles in hardware focused companies and their perspective on maybe innovation in marketing? Well,
that's an open-ended question.
That's the goal.
Can I phone a friend? I'm just kidding.
That'd be hilarious.
So I think I've got 3 answers for that, but I'm going to give you just one for sake of time. I think what's important, people talk about this concept of grit. With entrepreneurs all the time, and I've done it many times. It takes grit to be an entrepreneur, bootstrap, founder,
or VC backed. You still got to have grit and grind through that whole process.
Right. And that's true, of course. But I'm going to add another category, if you will, or a related force that's important to keep in mind when you're in this space, and that I'll describe as brute force. When you're going back to introducing, because hard tech, the work you guys do, quite often is brand new. Like Hot Logic is not only a new product, it's a new product category that's never existed before in the history of the world, right? And these things come along from time to time. And to do this takes brute force. You can go down, Magic Cap, of course, tried to invent the smartphone, if you will, right? And
you're talking about Magic Leap.
Was it Magic Leap?
Magic Leap, the bunny, or General Magic?
This is the General Magic.
Yes, the documentary General Magic. I've talked about
Right.
the podcast many times. It is. Have you watched it yet?
I've not.
I do have to make you do that.
They pulled the plug too soon. A couple engineers walked out the door and founded the Android operating system, right?
Well, first BlackBerry.
Oh, yeah, right. And then go back to Xerox, Palo Alto, the Park Laboratory. What people lose sight of, and venture capital, God bless them, they're doing the best they can. They have constraints. People pull the plug often too often. And true innovation takes time. But in addition to that, true innovation in the modern world also takes brute force. And I'm not talking about, physical force, beating somebody up, right? Because that was done in the 18th century, sure. But in this case, what I'm talking about is within the market. And sometimes it's not pay-per-click or social media influencers. The expression I use is, if you don't like your position on the board, change the game, right? If it's a brand new product or a brand new product category, the operative phrase I want to seed into your mind is, it might take brute force to get this product to market. What does that mean to you? That's the thought I would leave you with.
I love that. And for those listening at home, please check out the episode we did with the founder of Zip Wheels, because the way they did sales and marketing was brute force. They just showed up at triathlon events with a tent, everyone, and sold carbon wheels that cost more than most people's cars to triathletes at their events.
Bingo.
And just showed up in the rain.
Yes.
So back to what you said, to show up outdoor in the front, outside in the rain, that's difference between brute force and grit. Grit is sticking with it when the sales are down and times are tough, and you just got to stick through it. Brute force is doing something truly uncomfortable until it works.
Yes.
I think Grant gave my usual end of the podcast summary, doing something hard. But I would say show up in the rain, push it down people's throats if they need to.
Well,
get your product in the world.
metaphorically speaking.
That's right, of course. Yeah, but push your product. That's sometimes go to market. Everybody, this is the Hardtech Podcast. I'm your host, DeAndre Harakas, with the CEO of Glassboard, Grant Chapman.
How's it going? Thanks, everybody.
And Bernie, thank you so much for coming in.
This has
on
been
the
fun.
podcast.
I can't wait to do it again.
An absolute blast.
Yeah, check us out on what's the title of your podcast?
Unboxing the Office.
Yep, check it out. Coming to your ears someday soon.
Someday soon.
Yep, awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take care.